Hi, I'm checking in.
Oh my gosh, I'm a huge fan. Oh, thank you. I love Skinny Pop.
Mike, what's up, man? What you up to? Are you at the drawing table too? Staring at the ceiling trying to sleep. I hate it. When all you want to do is go to sleep, but it's just not happening. I actually invested in a bottle of just like over the counter like melatonin, which I never wanted to like be someone like I gotta take something to fall asleep, but some days I just can't, and kind of helps. Everyone's asleep but you. That's the bummer, man. HM, what's up? What's up? What's up? Watching people draw is your drug of choice. Well, now it's like pressure for me. It's always pressure to like. There's actually good professional people watching sometimes, and I'm like, don't come across like a complete failure with my own crappy drawings.
Not all oil care is created equal. Toxic prevention system is engineered to be 15 times more effective.
Nate. Well, thanks, Mike. I mean, I do appreciate that, especially coming from, a guy like you. Because I know I say it all the time, but I'm just a nobody, just kind of doing my thing and trying to learn and have some fun and make something that I can be kind of happy that I spent some time in my life creating a project and being able to have something to look back on. Pull myself up, not down. Well, maybe I'll do my best there, Nate. Nate, Jeffrey says you're the new Prime Minister of Australia. That you saved Australia from the cyclone. He was very proud of you. Matisu, hello, how's it going? You wish you had my dedication to the steps you use. Like, and so I'm curious as to what I mean by what steps, as opposed to like what do you do that, or differently than the way I'm kind of approaching it. I'm always interested to learn. And curious to hear kind of how other people work. I know there's not like, no, there's no such thing really as like, there's one way to make art and comics as long as the end result is, I guess, good, hopefully. But Mattis 2, greeting from Argentina. Wow, how's it going? Mike, you go straight to the artboard, pencil to a point, and finish in ink. But if I took the steps you do, I know I could be better thought out. Just go off instinct and panic. I get that. I do. I was going to start making comparisons to what I've done as if, you know, I'm nobody. I've done that before in my own little amateur way. I used to just go straight to the board when I was inking myself. But I assume you know, like, I've been working with Chuck Gibson, and, you know, working with a guy who's done professional inking and worked for, you know, Image Comics and stuff like that. I've kind of had to reevaluate kind of how I pencil things to make it on the level that a guy like that kind of deserves to see. And I felt myself kind of, I've never produced pages that were this clean in pencil. And I know it's not necessary. I mean, it helps if you've got an inker. You know, it's kind of better for the inker. I used to just pencil really rough right on the board and then just ink it too. But I used to think I'd dislike penciling like this. But I've found I kind of enjoy it. Doing this rough blue stage on this cheap paper, and just letting the pencil kind of just glide around, and then I kind of know enough when I do the light box to choose the final line when I'm doing the light box stage. I don't know. I'm not saying that this is great, but this is great for me. And Chuck seems to be liking it. He's pointed out that you know, he's seen me kind of improve and to get, as he puts it, quote unquote, more professional. So working with the guy, you know, least a former professional inker, I still think he's professional level, has kind of pushed me to get better. And then I've got guys like you, Dan Brewer, who I did the live stream with the other day, who did some work for Marvel and Image, and some other people. I'm like, I gotta give it my best effort. I don't want to embarrass myself too much, but I appreciate the compliment, man. I really do. That would be a good title for like a how-to draw comics book. It's just called Instinct and Panic. That actually kind of works. They would make me stop and want to pick it up. How to draw comics, Instinct and Panic. I definitely think there's something to be said. Something to be said for an artist just kind of going off instinct on the page. If you're a natural at it, I'm not talking about me, but if someone's a natural at it, just the instinct to just go right to the page, some people could work. Oh, you think it's awesome I'm finishing Rob's story, Liefeld's story? I know, it's, the more I do this, sometimes I'm like, what a stupid idea. What am I doing? What am I wasting my time for? But then I'm like, but this will be funny. The whole thing is supposed to be a gag. Hopefully it's also awesome and funny. We'll see. But I got the idea in my head. I'm like, I got to do it. I'm just going to do it. And I'm too far into it now to stop. Not that I want to, but it is kind of a silly idea. And I've said before, I'm also trying to make it like, in the off chance for some reason somehow that Liefeld actually sees it and reads it, it's not to rip on the guy and insult him. It's not that kind of a thing. It's got the same kind of ridiculous energy he put into it in the first place, but just taken to a little bit more weird extreme. Extreme. So I'm doing it with the intention of, if he saw it, he wouldn't hate it, hopefully. Like right here on this page, these bad guys have been going at each other, and our dickless hero, he finally gets himself together, gets his weapons drawn, and then they go at each other for a couple of panels of fighting. And then in this page, bad guy got some kind of separation. They're having some words. There's going to be some dialogue, of course, between them. Bad guy's jumping at him. He's going to have his wang hanging out. And our hero's pissed off because he's like, I'm getting attacked by this giant furry guy who's naked, and he's packing his giant dick around, and he's mad because he lost his. Well, sliced through the air, and off goes the bad guy's dick. So now it's sliced off. So now the bad guy stops, and he's like, what the fuck? Did you just cut off, I've even got this idea of our hero taking his severed dick and like wearing it like a trophy necklace around his head while he in the final scene of the book. Just like he's gonna like tie a rope around it and wear it around his neck. Like a victory necklace. The stupid ideas I come up with. Wang. What's up, Patrick Pierce?
want to be close. Cat allergens kept them apart. Not before. Purina One Live Clear reduces the
Flying banana. Have the bad guy eat it. Well, the bad guy, he's mad. He doesn't want to lose it. That would be a really fucked up scene. You've just changed the trajectory of the entire story, Patrick. He just picks it up. He's like, "You think cutting that off will stop me? Watch what I'll do." He just fucking swallows it. Oh, Ginger Bear, you did show up at the right time, man. K9, hey, thanks. see, it made Mike laugh out loud. See, that's what I'm saying. Suddenly, there's like a, well, maybe I should do this. Oh man. Patrick shows up and drops the the wisdom on us all. In some worlds with magic potion. Yeah, see? There's always ways to get it back. So, I'll tell you, I had this theory. I'll tell you what the ultimate end result of this guy's, because it's all focused, this whole book seems like it's focused on dicks. Some people probably think I'm gay or something. Like, what do you have a book full of dicks? Like, is this what you think about all day? I'm like, okay. I was going to have our lead character, the guy who got his dick cut up in the first place, he's going to go back, find the girls that got his dick, he's going to get it back from them, take them out, and put his own dick in a pouch and take it back. He's going to get it reattached. And, but like I said, I was going to have him, in theory, maybe wearing the big bad guy's severed dick around his necklace as like a trophy. Once he gets his own back, I was going to have him pick it up and throw it on the ground and just leave it. He's like, I don't need that, I've got my own. Because the battle between these two, not too much of a spoiler, but in the next 2 pages, our hero's going to decisively win the battle against this guy and seemingly kill him in a way that he can't come back from. But I was going to have at the very end of the book, when our hero drops the severed dick of the guy, like the last panel, or there might be a couple of panels where it's sitting on the ground, and we just zoom in on it, and zoom in on it, and zoom in, and it's just going to twitch ever so slightly, and then the end, kind of like the end of X-Men when Magneto lost his powers and he reached for the chest piece and it just barely twitched, just to make you think bad guy's still alive because his severed dick is twitching. You know, it's like having a bad guy, with his hand laying dead, and it just twitches, or his eye opens up at the end. Well, his dick moves. And that could lead, in theory, into a second book if I do a crowdfunder and if it's any kind of success and people are asking for more. I should have him in a car driving into the sunset, tossing it out the window like Lorena Bobbitt, and then it twitches. See, this is why I gotta work in a group. I gotta group think these stories. El Matas. Yeah, Gingerbread, you all want writing credits. I'll just have to put everybody who follows my live streams as co-plot. Like in Piranha 3D, where Jerry O'Connell gets his chewed off and then the fish spits it out underwater and there's an extreme close up. I've actually never seen that. Now I need to. I never had any interest in watching Piranha 3D, but you just sold me on it. Oh. Co-plot in the chat, right? Oh. The possibilities are endless. They also might be ridiculous and dumb, but that hasn't stopped me yet.
You know, before I get there, I'm not training. I'm going to benefit. I don't know that. 4 bedrooms? Okay.
Piranha 3D is good. Tons of gore. Yeah, I might have to look it up. Because, again, you just sold me. That is part of why I wanted to do the follow-up to this damn thing, because I had never seen a comic where a hero lost his junk and somebody ran off with it. I'm like, okay, I'm not saying I've read every comic book in the world, far from it, but I've never seen that. Where's it going to go? And we don't get to see. So I felt it was my civic duty. It's also a sequel to James Cameron's first film. Okay, yeah, I remember. Yeah, Piranha. I remember that was like James Cameron's first thing before he did Terminator. Someone's saying, "What's up?" Have I heard the song "Detachable Penis"? I don't think I have. K9, give a random character to draw, and you need to pick up a pencil today. Anybody got any suggestions for him for a random character to draw? I will look that up. Detachable penis. I wonder if maybe I've heard it. It didn't stick in my head as to what it was. It's about a guy with a detachable penis. He lost it and found it down the street where his neighbor was trying to sell it at a yard sale. What the hell? Oh my God. Master Dragon. You're working on the Dragon Tower? Is that your own book, sir? No, it's just a really large picture of a bunch of dragons. Well, dragons are. I mean, okay, I was gonna say dragons are fun to draw, but then I stopped myself because I've. I don't think I've ever drawn a dragon. I'm not any good at animals, so I always have to have reference, and then any reference of a dragon is just going to be copying someone else's art. So it never occurred to me. There everyone goes. There's the link. I have given Ginger Bear the power of mod so he can post links. Charo, you feel like dragons are fun to draw once from one angle? El Mata, interesting perspective drawing someone else's art. Canine, you've never heard of Hellboy? I guess, you know, I mean, I know the character's had a couple of movies, but I kind of thought most people have heard of him. I do have to say, I mentioned this recently, but I've actually had a hard time getting through the like original Hellboy stories themselves. Um, I've got the first collection. Is it Seed of Destruction? Um, I get it mainly because I love Mignola's artwork, but the story wasn't holding my attention. I was really trying too. I've picked it up multiple times, trying to just finish it, but I just lose interest. My first introduction to Hellboy was actually in The Savage Dragon. I was aware of the character, but I never read any of the stories. But then Hellboy guest starred in a couple issues of Savage Dragon. I'm like, all right, I like this character. He's cool. Him and Dragon get along really well. It was actually kind of fun. Mata, it's like the 90s things. I realized we were spoiled by Jim Lee and them. Like to this day, I still don't find Grendel gripping. Matt Wagner's art was too plain for me, and the pace is almost always slow. You know, that's funny because I've actually enjoyed Matt Wagner's Grendel, but specifically only the stuff he does. But I do agree with everything he said about it. It is kind of slow, and I'm actually surprised. I kind of randomly learned to really enjoy Matt Wagner's simplified artwork. It makes me really rethink what I do. Like, everything doesn't have to be hyper detailed, even though oftentimes that's the style I want to do because I think it looks awesome. But I understand that. I know a lot of people kind of don't dig Matt Wagner, but I do. So it's kind of the same thing, yeah, with Hellboy. Yeah, good point.
A Dog's Big Life.
And Matt Wagner did a
And when you feed your dog nature
Chris
fresh
Samney does it. Yeah, I've never read any of his comics, but I've seen a lot of his artwork, and
with natural ingredients.
he's really good. I also understand he's really fast. If I remember reading correctly. But yeah, I like his stuff. Definitely. And Matt Wagner did a reissue, like an entire remake of the entire original Grendel series, of the original Hunter Rose story. He like redrew the entire thing, like a remastered version. It's on my channel. I think he did it in anticipation for the release of the Netflix Grendel TV show, which then they new management took over Netflix and canceled the show, even though it was 100% finished. So he was like creating this special edition book of the original story, and then Netflix just says, no, we're not going to release it. It's shelved forever, even though it's completely done. Yeah, right? There's always the fear that it's actually terrible. You know, maybe we're better to not see it, but it's done, you know. You'd think they'd be able to give Matt Wagner, like, well, here's, you know. Because I know Matt Wagner said that he's seen it, but he's like, they just said, nope, we're not doing it. So they spent all that money, actors, sets, production, finished the entire thing, and then we're like, nah. Maybe it was like a tax write-off thing. Like that god-awful looking Batgirl. That Batgirl movie. Yeah, check it out. Yeah, it's on the channel. You just type in probably Rob Norton and Grendel, and you'll eventually find it. The remaster, I think, is a beautiful book because it's black and white with gray tones and then splashes of red all over the place. I actually think it looks fantastic. It's one of my favorite looking books I've ever seen. Ginger Bear, me and you, dude, 100% agree. I've tried to do that, and I found sometimes when I do try to do a simplified style, and I force myself, I find that I like what I did, but then I try to do it again, and it looks terrible. So it's like, why does it work in microscopic doses? And then I'm like, no, it needs to have all these over-rendering lines. I've grown up watching Todd McFarlane and Stephen Platt. This needs more lines. Lines equal art, and lines equal cool. I'm actually excited to eventually get into the Matt Wagner Mage series. I am surprisingly a huge fan of it. Michael Pritchard, kind of similar to what they did with Mouse Guard. Yeah, Mike McBain, it's harder. Mike, I assume you're talking about like a simpler style. That's a good point. I'm glad you mentioned that. I know a lot of artists that would say that artists that do a simplified minimalism kind of style, like they're taking the easy route. They're not putting all the effort, and that is completely the exact opposite. I remember somebody saying on some forum years ago, what's the name of that artist? Anybody remember the name of that artist that he was doing that? Was it NYX from Marvel? It was like a bunch of teenage kids, and he has like a hyper thin line, open art style that looked kind of like animation cells. God, I can't. Josh Middleton, I think. But I remember some people on a forum saying, this guy's, he's cheapening, we're getting ripped off with this guy because he doesn't put any line work. It's just all this open line stuff. And even, I'm talking, this was like 15 years ago or something like that. Even then, I was like, no. Yeah, Mike, yeah, Josh Middleton, yeah. And Gingerbread, you remember? Yeah, the rendering style with the colors. But I remember going, no, this is not easy because you can't hide anywhere. You can't hide in shadows and bullshit cross-hatching. Like if you look at like a early Stephen Platt style, you just put lines everywhere. It looks chaotic and busy and insane, and people go, that's awesome. And in its own way, it is. But you can hide so much with heavy shadows and random cross-hatching everywhere. And I even understood that a long time ago. I'm like, this minimalism style, it is not easy. Because you got to know everything. It is all right there. What's Josh Middleton even doing anymore? Yeah, NYX was always late. It took him forever to finish. Yeah, something mediocre can look cool with some cross-hatching. Yeah, I feel called out. What are you trying to say, Ginger Bear? Because you're exactly correct. Oh, man. You're calling yourself at me. Me and you. Almata, it took me a while to even understand Mobius' simpler work, Jim Lee and company again. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, we just get used to this style as kids who don't know anything until somebody teaches us, I guess. Like, no, this shit is hard. I remember seeing that Middleton artwork, and I was like, God, that coloring, it looked like an animation cell. Like, this is incredible. Like, lighting of, like, the sunlight cascading through trees, and so like the shades and shadows of like leaves on a face. That's incredible stuff. It looked so good. Middleton does a lot of covers now. He went the cover route like so many of my favorite artists. Why would I draw pages that are a pain in the ass? Well, I could just get paid a lot of money to do one image. Mobius is a big blind spot for me, honestly. I've seen a lot of his stuff, and I've seen enough to know that, okay, that's brilliant. But one of these days I gotta find some kind of like, I don't know, an art book or an artist edition or a collection of his best stuff. I've never actually had anything in my hand to look at. Yes, it's Marvel and DC page rates that are less than they were 25 years ago. Yeah, for real.
Watching Marvel is crazy. Luckily, mealtime doesn't have to be chaos.
The Honest Kitchen makes homemade food easy, and they're made with human-grade ingredients.
Now this
I just wish a lot of my favorite artists that are out there. I know I'm just repeating myself. If you guys have been part of the channel, you know I say this all the time, especially on these live streams. But I just wish that all of these artists that are some of my favorites had the itch to still want to tell stories. You know, meaning even if it takes them a long time in between covers, they're just working on some book and then release some, I don't know, at least 48-page one-off brilliant comic story just out of the blue and just blow us away with how good they are. But none of these guys want to do it. Master Dragon, you don't know much about comics. You're always speaking French to me right now. You're just here for the art. No, that's 100% like, yeah. Well, all artists and interests are welcome, of course. Doesn't always have to be comics, but as a comics fan, I just wish my favorite guys would just want to draw books. I mean, at least Jim Lee still draws. But yeah, Ginger Bear, your favorite Mobius book is called 40 Days. It's a bunch of pinups, and it's all black and white, and every piece is beautiful. Oh, man. That sounds brilliant. That sounds exactly like what I need. I'm sure, I'm guessing if I go looking for it, it'll probably be, like, hard to find and crazy expensive. But we will see what the great material continuum will provide. Master Dragon is just a youngster that likes drawing dragons. That's totally fine. Yeah, Mike, I agree, and it's weird because I don't get what's missing. I don't know. I can't say that I feel like he's lost anything in terms of technical skill, but for me, when I'll see him draw all these Batman pages, I'm like, yeah, they look great, and I'm bored because I'm just not interested in Jim Lee drawing Batman. But then, somebody says it. But then he'll go and I'll see him do for a commission or something like that. He'll draw like frickin' Wolverine. And I'm like, it looks great. And I'm like, it's the same artist. I love it when he's drawing a character that I associate, that I like better than him drawing Batman. So is it just my internal personal prejudices that are keeping me from enjoying his art? Or does he have just a different feel when he draws Wolverine, for example, or he draws Psylocke or Gambit? I think it's just me stuck in the old days. But yeah, I look at his art on Batman. I'm like, it's well done. Scott Williams is inking it. All the details there. I don't feel like he's skimping anything, but the interest personally just doesn't exist, and it's so frustrating. Y'all are talking too fast. Too corporate. His work on Deathblow is his best. I kind of agree with you, El Mata. Am I saying your name right, El Matas? I remember when I saw his Deathblow, that darker image, and I was blown away. And I wish he would do more of that, but he never will. Ginger Bear, honestly, I think his modern art is really good, but the coloring is destroying it. That could be it. It's so overcolored. If they print that shit with flats or black and white, it would look amazing. Marshall, shut the fuck up. Mike, he's not meant for DC. His style shines on Marvel characters. Yeah, that's kind of what I think. Sometimes I feel like I'm crazy, just like I was saying. I'm like, why do I like his Marvel stuff better? But then I know there's other people like El Matas. He's like, Batman's work is very good. I don't know. Even the six-page pull-out from the world's finest book, the Batcave layout is amazing, but it's not nearly as epic as it could be because the coloring is all over the place. All-Star was all kinds of things, but it seemed like he drew the whole thing with a heart on. I definitely could see that. Duke feels the same way about McFarlane's work these days. Yeah, Ginger Bear. I agree with you and Mike. Jim Lee's work just it seems more suited to Marvel. I know that everyone's excited, myself included. Like that new Battle Beast comic is coming out, and I saw Ryan Otley posting that they sold 400,000 copies, like almost 500,000, and I think that's fantastic. Um, so it's like the fans are there. Just getting the right artist on the right book. If Jim Lee would have come back, I know, and this will never happen, but if he suddenly just got sick of DC and went back and drew X-Men for Marvel for anything, man, I think they might move a book into the millions once again for one time. I think that's the only project that would do that. Yeah, I got a Battle Beast on order, and that's going to be a book I review instantly. And it might honestly be the first book that I do that's like a brand new book out right now. Well, I guess besides Youngblood that I just did. Um, yeah, Otley. I've told the story how I've met him. He's another guy in a way that I kind of feel like his art is maybe suited to specific projects. I followed him through the entire run of Invincible and thought it was great. And then he got the itch to do something else and he went over to draw Spider-Man. I collected for like 4 issues or so. And I'm like, I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't interested, and so I put it down. His artwork was just as good as it's ever been, but it wasn't holding my attention. The story was also a big part of it. I'm not saying the story was bad. I just wasn't interested in that story, and Otley's work wasn't enough to keep me. But by the same token, he comes back on Battle Beast, and it instantly looks incredible. So it's like, is it just artists on certain titles? It's just that magic combination? I don't know. I also like the idea that Battle Beast is in this Invincible universe, and they can go hyper violent and do anything they want because it's not Marvel, it's not some corporate project. So they can go crazy, and Battle Beast is a monster. So, yeah. Sorry, I'm behind here. Master Dragon, thanks for stopping in if you're still there. Yeah, Ginger, Otley does great gore, and the Battle Beast looks to be full of fighting and gore. Daniel Gonzalez, what's up, dude? Not surprised by those numbers, but I think it's a combination of Otley's art, Kirkman on writing, and it's Battle Beast, who's awesome, and so many more people know him from the animated show. I think a kick of it is from the cartoon, and that's fine. That's what they should do. Starfish, hello? Otley's Hulk was awesome, but the writing was weird. You never saw his Spider-Man. Mike McMahon, you and I are very similar, dude. I didn't hate Joe Mad's art, but I was certainly not interested in it enough to collect the X-Men. You know, I look back on it and I can see that it was good, but I'm like, I wasn't interested. It was okay. But Battle Chasers comes along, and suddenly it's like, oh, well, now this is the greatest looking thing I've ever seen. Yeah, Invincible is huge right now with the entire creative team on Invincible now on a spinoff, bound to be a big deal. Yeah. But yeah, Mike, you and I agree, man. Joe Mad was the thing, and I'm like, okay. But this Battle Chasers, I'm like, all right, whatever. Then I pick it up. I'm like, oh my God, this is beautiful. I can't wait for the next several issues. And then you knew it'd be like a 25-year wait. I do hold some resentment to Madiera for that. It's like, come on, dude, make the book, for God's sakes. Give the fans who've made you a millionaire, like, at least finish the story. Kind of feels insulting. just bail on it. I went over this in the whole video review. Right, Ginger Bear? That other guy, I forget his name, I'd know it if I saw it, the guy who he hired to draw the completion of the last 3 issues of the Battle Chasers, he's certainly good. Ludo? Something like that? But I'm like, you just can't compete with Joe. And for God's sakes, Joe, just draw the goddamn thing. It was mentioned that maybe, you know, he took his time and it was a passion project. Maybe. I thought his art, in terms of his pencil work, looked fine in that horrible Ultimates Volume 3. I thought that going straight to pencils, with pencils straight to coloring, was just the worst possible idea. But his pencils looked fantastic because it's Joe Madureira. Yeah, yet other artists finish it. It felt cheap. Yeah. And then, going. There's very, very few artists who, in my humble, who cares opinion, like, you could go straight pencils and have it kind of retain the same energy, but Madureira's work just seems to just beg for beautiful inks from, like, a Richard Friend or a Tim Townsend. It just looks so good. But I've always wondered if it was like a cost cutting. Like, I'll just go straight to pencils and I don't have to pay an inker because they're not cheap if you want the good ones. But part of me is like, you make so much money anyway. Make a good product. Is it so much to ask to, like, just you want to make it look the most beautiful possible version you could come up with? And if it requires you need to pay a good inker, bite the bullet and pay him. You got the money, guys. Yeah, you hate color straight from pencils. I usually do too. I seem like I ran into something recently where I was like, all right, this is straight pencils, but I kind of didn't mind it. And I'm trying to remember what it was. It might be... I know some of the next forthcoming issues of Pit, meaning the ones I haven't reviewed yet. There's some pages where Dale Keown just went straight to colors, and his pencils are so tight. If you don't know, like if you don't understand, you're not looking, you might not have even noticed. And I was like, all right, this isn't as offensive. I think it's also the coloring that's going on. That Ultimates Volume 3 was like the worst coloring I've ever seen. And it's by, the colorists are really good. Just that muddy bullshit that they did. What the biggest fumble, going from Brian Hitch on Ultimates to Joe Madureira, which is a great artist, but man, talk about tone deaf. Oh, El Mata. Yeah, Kerry Nord's Conan run, that's one I do remember. That looked pretty good. It had like a painterly quality. Mike McMahon, I agree. You're talking about Michael Turner. Yeah, that's another guy who had hyper clean pencils, and they just went away. Joe Weems on Fathom. I thought D-Tron inking him on Witchblade was perfect, and I do still think it looks great, but Joe Weems inking Turner on Fathom, I'm like, there's the perfect version of his art right there. Nailed it. And then he went off to do that Supergirl and that Superman, Batman, and again, his pencils are so clean, the average person might not have even noticed, but Some of us 100% do. Yeah. Yeah. If Almatis, if you look at some of these issues, I'll be pointing it out when I review the next issues. You can tell that it's pencil, but it's so tight. It's like holy shit. I wonder he has to like do a light box version, kind of like what I'm doing. I don't know how they could possibly be that clean any other way, but I still don't know. He's so good. It's a shame that whatever the hell happened to him. Yeah, I hear people saying, Ginger Bear, that Keown's been trying to get like a, maybe like a collected edition of Pitt going. I don't know if that's actually true. I would die for an artisan edition or whatever, like these big full-size books of those first couple issues of Pitt. Like that small short story in Youngblood, whatever it was, 3, the first appearance of Pitt. And then the first couple issues, just like Liefeld's doing with his Youngblood. Oh my god, a black and white artist edition of Keown's Pitt work would be just magical. And I think it would be successful. What has he drawn in the last 20 years? Right? I just imagine somebody at Keown's level, maybe he can just live off of commissions. Because there's people out there willing to spend money. And I'm talking, we all know, a lot of money. So maybe he just makes commissions and that's how he lives. Maybe he just doesn't need to do comics because he clearly doesn't care because he's not drawing comics, so... Yeah, a big collected black and white of Keown artwork. And honestly, I'm not interested in his Hulk work. It's good, but he just found some magical groove drawing characters he wanted. And I would buy that shit instantly. In fact, sometimes I kind of think maybe some people could do like there's that Nick Manabat book that I got where people just sourced pages from comic art fans and heritage auctions, and maybe just some fanboy will just make one. Montes, on Darkness, he was ridiculous. I remember collecting that. I feel like he did good artwork, but for me, that was a case of I don't fucking care about the darkness. This character was like Spawn. He had an interesting original premise that lasts for like one story, maybe one graphic novel, but over the long term, the darkness has no staying power. It got old fast, and it just kind of felt like a Spawn thing, honestly. And once Silvestri was done, well, I collected it because Joe Benitez was drawing it, and then I got some of the Dale Keown stuff. I'm like, I don't care. It's 100% the darkness for real. Yeah. Yeah, I wish I wasn't so incredibly bored by the darkness. Yeah, I look back on it, and I used to fool myself into thinking it was entertaining, but it was just because I was into Silvestri's artwork. I'm like, look at this. He draws the hottest babes, and he draws these big, cool monsters. This is awesome. But then you're like, it's not. In terms of story. And it was mildly interesting because I was into Witchblade, and they were linking those two together. So I'm like, all right, there's a little bit of interest. You know, how does that work between these two characters? But, and I I didn't see the appeal of Garth Ennis. I didn't think the story that he wrote for Darkness was like particularly engaging. I'm like, it was fine, but yeah, after a while, I just felt like Darkness was just like, this is just Spawn, some supernatural guy, and a bunch of monster creatures trying to be funny. Darkness is better than Spawn. I think at the core of the characters, the actual execution that happened, I would probably agree. I still like Spawn #1 1,000 times better than the Darkness #1, but Spawn #1 is the only issue of Spawn I like because of the moment in time, the imperfect design of the character, the incredible artwork. Like, I still like issue 1, but it just got increasingly boring with every issue until it's just like, all right, I'm in issue 85. Maybe I should stop collecting this book I've been bored with for decades, or not decades, but you know what I mean. Mike, you got both the Booth and Scott Clark artist editions. I thought about getting them, but I'm not a huge fan of their early work, so in a world of like not having a huge amount of money to spend all the time, I really thought about doing the Scott Clark one, but I let it slide. I was even kind of tempted. I think they're doing a Whilce Portacio one, like a Wetworks book. And that's one that I'm kind of interested in, but oh, is that what's going on, Mark? Or Mike? They're struggling to find enough art for it. Interesting. It's still taken with just 10 pages. I didn't know that. I know, yeah, I'm part of that Wildstorm fan page. And I know they were doing it, but that's interesting. They just can't find enough. You think? I wonder if they'd like reach out to Portacio and be like, "Hey, brother, we're trying to put together a book," but I wonder if they. I mean, they can't really do it and not expect him to find out. I was like, maybe they don't want him to know because he'd want to cut. But I wonder if Portacio's just sold off all his pages. But once again, with Portacio, if I could choose an era of his work I'd rather see, it's kind of his X Factor stuff. Does that make me super lame? It's kind of like seeing Jim Lee's that X-Men edition that they did, where they have tons of his Uncanny X-Men work. I want to see Portacio's X Factor work. That's the primo spot for me. Scott Clark was magnificent. Yeah, see, Ginger Bear, yeah, I'm the same. I agree. Scott Clark was either incredibly great or awful. You could tell he sometimes had some projects he did not care about. Like, he did some work for Liefeld, like drawing Angela, which I reviewed some of it. I'm like, this is terrible. Like, he's so much better than this. Yeah, Mike X Factor was right. Yeah, Ginger Bear. Yeah, is Portacio's X Factor and his Punisher. What is it about the older work that just keeps our attention? I don't feel like it was lesser work, but maybe they were under different kind of artistic expectations before the Image explosion, and it was more storytelling required. So it's more. I don't know. But all those issues of X Factor, Legion of Night was true. I think I have that. I have those books. I haven't reviewed them yet. I picked those up. The Hunger was there. Yeah, yeah, there you go. Ginger Bear, yeah. I think I've said that. Portacio has created the like the perfect, like, best iconic version of Iceman. especially with those ice rings around his wrist. I'd never even conceived of such a thing, but once I saw that, I'm like, that's, oh my God. You know, it's kind of like McFarlane redefining Spider-Man's webbing. Like, just taking a specific look. If I, in Fantasy World where I got to draw an X-Men book, and I got to do Iceman, he would have the Portasio ice rings around his wrist, 100%. Because in my mind, there's no other way to do it. That's what he looks like. That's a good point, Ginger. Yeah. Something to be said about them being on a monthly book and just being loose with their art. They couldn't think about it, just go. It's just instinct. Yeah. Yeah, Silvestri Artist Edition. But the versions I want to see are all his Wolverine work and some of his X-Men. I would take an Image Comics version, but it's not the version I would be most happy to see because, like even he says, he doesn't like his 90s work because he was just ripping off Jim Lee. I would take it, but given a choice, it's the black and white Dan Green inked Wolverines and X-Men stuff. Yeah, you've literally never seen original artworks for Silvestri for sale anywhere. He has some stuff, I think, on his website. There's some stuff there, but it's like just his Image 90s stuff. So yeah, I often wonder, like, where are these pages? Where are these awesome, like some of these great pages from those Wolverine books? I always wonder, where are they? Does some collector have them? Because I can't imagine, I don't see Silvestri being like proprietary of his Marvel work. I could see him selling them to make money. Oh, Matas, you're taking out. Thank you. Thanks for stopping in, man. Hope to see you around more. Yeah. Jim Lee got his X-Men Artist Edition. Silvestri deserves his. McFarlane got his Spider-Man. I would actually prefer Liefeld X-Force Artist Edition over his Youngblood. But since that Youngblood work is the closest to an Artist Edition we'll get where it's closest to his good work, where he's still inking himself a little bit and kind of had that raw energy that worked. But Silvestri deserves it too, man. But again, maybe if there's enough raw scans of high-resolution stuff, which there's probably not, like the fan guys could just make one. I'd pay for my copy, and I'd pay a lot. Like, get all of X-Force #1 in there. Number 1, 2, and 3 at least. Maybe up to 4. And then all of New Mutants. Here's what I want. New Mutants 100. I guess they'd probably have to put New Mutants 98 with the Deadpool in there. But then New Mutants 100. And then X-Force 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because I think that's mostly him doing the artwork before he had, you know, Marat doing backgrounds and shit that he adamantly denies doing, but 100% did. Yeah, Heritage Auctions, for example, only has 2 pages of Silvestri. It's so crazy. Yeah, Mikey either put in effort or had help with Youngblood. Yeah. Marat is and always will be terrible. You probably saw me do like recently that Battlestone issue. And like I was saying in the review, I flipped it open. I'm like, all right, his rendering has gotten better. His anatomy is gotten better, but he's still kind of retaining that early Image awesome style. Okay, great. But then I'm reading it, I'm like, I can't follow the story. His storytelling is his biggest failing. Like, come on, dude. I'm really trying to like find that one book that's like Marat found his thing. This is where he finally excelled. I just don't think it exists. I know he's Rob's friend, but Jesus, right? Oh, and I don't have any ill will towards Marat. I know you're not saying otherwise. But I really wanted to be like, there's the book. There's the one that had the awesome shit. Even Fraga, I think, has become a better storyteller. Though those god-awful, what was those books that I hate so much? God damn it, what's that miniseries that Fraga did that's just terrible? That book doesn't exist. I know, right? Somebody help remind me, what is the name of that? I done reviews on them all. That Fraga book that was a Liefeld concept. It was just terrible. There's a girl with the mohawk. No, the Berserkers. Right. Yeah. Booze. Yeah. Wiley, you wrote it weird. The Berserkers. Right. You know, that team that just randomly showed up in Youngblood #2, and then they were just defeated, and then they were supposed to be amazing? Right, yeah, the Berserkers. No, not Black Flag. I've actually never seen that. Did that actually get made? It was the Berserkers I was thinking of, yeah. Oh, I've got videos on them on the channel, man. I actually found, like, I think issue 2 first, and then I found issue 3, and then I got issue 1. It's just the worst, like new Image artist failings everywhere. And he said he remembers fondly working on them. He said he had a great time working on them. I'm like, okay, it might have been fun, but holy shit, dude. Storytelling 101. I don't know anything, but I know better than this. You know what's another artist edition I would die to see? Who's another one of those artists from that era that everyone just reveres even to this day, and he doesn't draw no goddamn thing, and he was always late on his deadlines because he took so much time on his work? But an artist edition would be amazing. Wiley, Fraggy's been working on a new Black Flag crowdfund that was supposed to have been released 4 years. Seriously? He did a crowdfunder and never fulfilled it? Oh. But yeah, what I'm talking about in terms of artist editions I'd love from an artist, how about Travis Charest? Like the work he did on Wildcats, that Wildcats X-Men, even though that's basically black and white, but I'd love to see full-size scans. Yeah, Dan Gonzalez, he knows what's up. And then just the random pages that he did in the Wildcat series. Man, that shit would just... I would love to see close-up scans of those pages with that fine line penciling and then the inkers, the work that they did. Now that these artist editions are a big thing, it's like, come on, Silvestri, come on, Dale Keown, come on, Travis Charest. Not that they Not that they are the ones that have any pull on it, necessarily. That's crazy, Ginger Bear, though, that you he streams working on it. How can anybody look anybody in the eye and, like, I had a crowdfunder 4 years ago, and I'm still working on it. You know, me and Chuck talked about this stupid book of mine that we're working on. We're like, if we're going to crowdfund it, we both mutually agreed the art's going to be done before we put it out there. You're like, we're not going to have any possibility, at least in terms of art production, where, yep, I'm still drawing it. I'm getting there. Yeah, Ginger Bear, even if it's just a black and white oversized. Yeah, either way, I'd take it. But, yeah, these guys that do crowdfunders and don't fulfill them for years, it's insulting. Mike McMahon, you had health issues, hand tremors. Is that, you're talking about Fraga, right? Now that you say that, that actually sounds familiar, and I guess I should scale my responses with assuming there's nothing in terms of health or life crises stopping them from doing it. Yeah, good point. Thank you for bringing that up. Now that you say that, I do seem to remember hearing him talk about that. I had no idea there was a crowdfunder he put out in the first place. So, you know, didn't know that. Ginger Bear. I tuned in a couple times and he said, hey guys, I'm not going to talk much on this stream because I need to focus and draw. And then 3 hours later, he's drawn like a hand or something. Oh, that's rough. Well, yeah, it's kind of like I would talk about, a lot of people got really pissed off at Portasio for being late with Wetworks. I'm like, you bunch of shitheads. His freaking sister died, and he, like, went to go handle family issues, and that's all I needed to hear. I'm like, oh, you know what? That's horrible. You know, condolences to your family. Your comic, like, I'll be picking it up when you come back, so, you know. But I know some people get really pissy. I hear a lot of people bitching about, like, fucking Portasio took forever to get Wetworks out. I'm like, you either don't know what you're talking about, or you just don't care about someone having big issues that needed to be dealt with. Oh, I didn't even know Portasio had a stroke. That sucks, man. Mike, man, he's coming to the end of a Disney contract directing a show. I didn't even know Fraga did that. See, I don't know. I do follow Fraga on Instagram. I've missed all this. I didn't know he was doing stuff like that. So good for him. That's awesome. So a little more sympathy from me on my part. I feel kind of bad just jumping on. Like, fuck that guy. How can you not finish your work? Well, there's things. Yeah, Portasio is one of those guys also where, you know, he inks all his own stuff. I remember he put out like a sketchbook. It was just a bunch of black and white stuff that he does, and it looks great, but I like his art inked by an artist with the slicker, clean style, like a Scott Williams, you know? His super sketchy rendering style when he inks himself. I know a lot of people like artists. A lot of people say an artist always looks better when they ink themselves. I don't personally agree with that. I do know that it's truthful most of the time, I think. I don't necessarily think Jim Lee's best work is when he inks himself. Diabetic coma. Oh shit. He couldn't stand or draw after the coma. See? Didn't know about that. Or if I did, I forgot about it. Yeah, some of these guys have had have a hard go of it. And we're sitting here, where's your fucking comic book, you asshole? Mike, you hate inking yourself? But you're poor. It's like, yeah, I mean, I would imagine, like, well, who else am I going to get to do it? I would not want anyone else to ink my stuff because I know there's inkers out there that are superb and would make my stuff look good, but I don't get to work with them. And that all changed once I ran into Chuck. I was like, oh, I can work with this guy because look what he does. And he my artwork looks different than when I do it, when he inks it, but that's what I like about it. It's a different kind of vibe. But if it wasn't for Chuck, I wouldn't want anybody to ink my shit because I'm like, anybody that would want to work with me probably isn't going to be at the level I want them to be. That sounds really egotistical on my part, but, there's a little bit of, control you want. But then I get to work with Chuck, and I'm like, oh, look at this cool stuff he's doing. That looks amazing. All right. Well, now I get it. Yeah, Ginger, I get what you're saying. Comics is hard, and all these people are good dudes, so I shouldn't be talking shit about any of them. Yeah. Mike, you had Andrew Magnum ink a Prelude for U.S. Assassin, and you wish you could afford him full time. I'm keeping Chuck's detachable penis locked in a safety deposit box. He's like, you're gonna give that back to me, right? As soon as we're done with this thing. I'm like, yeah. You keep telling yourself that, sir. Guess we'll see. That's interesting, Mike. I get what you're saying. It's like when there's someone it just clicks with you, but then it's like, I can't afford your services, and if a publisher is not ponying up the dough, it's got to come out of your pocket. Like, what else do you do? Hey, Mike, out of all the projects that you've worked on, what one do you feel is so far maybe the best thing you've ever done? Like, if anybody were to come up to you and be like, hey man, what's the shit that you feel like is your best representation of your work so far that I should seek out? light box can get warm. Volume 2 or 3 of U.S. Assassin you think is the best so far? 4 is at the printers? I'm going to have to go check him out, man. You did some work for Marat's Counterpoints comic in the mid-2000s. That was okay. Here's another question for you. As a guy who draws, and you know, it's a career. What would be like a dream project if you were given unlimited kind of like access to any companies or characters or anything, and you could do anything you wanted? What would you like to work on? Is there like a Marvel or a DC project, or would you like to, you know, given the magical ability just to do anything you want, would it be like a creator-owned thing? What would be the dream gig? If you don't mind me asking this shit, you obviously don't feel obligated to answer nothing. The Shadow, awesome, really. I know so little about The Shadow outside of the movie. And Matt Wagner did a crossover with Grendel, which I thought was pretty dang good. But I don't know much beyond kind of the basics of the character. That's interesting. I like that. The Shadow knows. You have him tattooed on your shoulder. My dad and I used to do road trips, and he had the radio serials on tape. That's awesome. I like hearing stories like that where it's kind of connected to, you know, like I kind of was introduced to him, especially when it's something like a father introduced you to a thing like that. That's awesome, man. You're tired, your thumbs aren't working? Uh-oh, what did you mean to write? Hey, Ginger Bear, man, thanks for stopping in, as always. just saw it, right? He's got his dick on. I'm like, I gotta have it in full front. It's gotta be showing because it's getting cut off in the next two panels, so it's gotta be out there. Oh. This book not for kids. I've heard that before, giggity. I should do some really fine cross-hatching on the shaft of this and make Chuck ink that and make him just go like, God damn it, Rob. Why are you... Why am I... like, of all the things I've ever had to ink in my life, you gotta fucking... draw a dick. What's that song they said? An acorn in a nest of twigs and underneath two fetal pigs. Thing is, I'm kind of faking the way this thing looks because I gotta be honest, there's a part of me that I've already done some Google searching on, male anatomy. I kind of had enough for some other pages that I drew. I'm like, I don't need to be, so I'm just kind of faking this dick. Seen enough. Do a double page super rendered show. Chuck, I got the centerfold for the book. Check it out. It's just a double page spread across just a super zoom in. You're like, Rob, I'm out. I'm done. I'm out of here, dude. I ain't doing that shit anymore. Had enough. Oh, man. He'd have to go and tell his wife, that fucking clown that I've been working with. Oh, man. Hey, Mike, I've been, if you're still there, I don't know, I feel kind of suddenly awkward, like, throwing this out there, but, I just did, the other day, a live stream with that, Dan Brewer. Anyway, I was just, if you ever were interested in doing, like, you know, a live stream co-draw chat like this, that would be super awesome. If that ever was something that interested you, could be always interesting to get some conversation with somebody doing work and just chatting it up. Yeah, no, totally get it. Yeah, if you're interested, if we could find a time. I get it. Like, you know, I've got my kids on occasion too. I know what that's like. But yeah, if that ever is something we could work out, that would be fun. That'd be a good time to chat you up, man. Awesome. All right, yeah. Well, let's see what we can work out at some point, somewhere. Do any of your kids have like an artistic interest, kind of like you? Because my kids, not really sure that any of them are gonna be art, you know, want to pursue artwork like their daddy does, and it kind of makes me sad. But you know, they just got to be who they are. But you say you got 5 kids. Are any of them artistically inclined? It is warm in this room of mine. How warm is it outside? Your daughter loves drawing on her iPad in an anime kind of style, and your 15-year-old loves doing stop motion and building characters out of anything like pipe cleaners and cardboard. That's awesome. That's cool, man. God, my son, Let me, gotta put my art off to the side. I've got it in here somewhere. Where did I put it? Ah, where is it? Where is it? Ah, I found it. His YouTube channel is Jack of all. So he's got a channel. I'll check that out. My youngest son, my 9-year-old, he comes home and he brings me this. I'm gonna have to turn on my overhead light. Get rid of the. He brings me this. Let me back the camera up. And he comes over. He's like, "Dad, I made this for you." And it says, he paints, "I love you, Dad." And it's like this symbol. And I'm like, I love it. It looks really familiar. What is it? He says, "It's the symbol of your YouTube channel." Like, I have that black background with it's Ghost Rider's flaming skull. He just painted it from memory in art class for me. And I'm like, oh my God, I love you so much, my son. It's so cute. And he tried to do a skull out of his memory as the best he could, but it's this shit that really, makes you go, all right. There's a reason I had kids. It's so I could have someone else clean up the house, and I don't have to do it. But after that, the other reason is because I love them. Yeah, my sweet boy. I'm looking up your kid's YouTube channel. I think I found it. Oh yeah, look at him go. 450 subscribers. Good for him. Well, he just got one more. That's awesome. But yeah, that little drawing that my sweet boy did. When I first started my channel, he took some paper and drew a little bell icon and the thumbs up icon and like the subscribe button. He drew it and he's like, "Here, Dad, you can use these to show everybody so they know that they need to subscribe to your channel." I'm like, "You're such a good helper." King Murray. What's the name of this character I'm drawing? His name is Red Coyote. Pay no attention to, Oh, what's the story? It's complicated. This guy is not the star of the book. He's just a bad guy who just got his dick cut off. So that's his role in the story, is to be a bad guy and get chopped into little bad guy bits by the other hero. It's just his name. He's an alien monster hunter thing. And Red Coyote just sounded awesome. It's also supposed to be kind of silly. Like, kind of ridiculous. That's the whole point of the character. It's a parody of something else, is what it is, so.
Can't count on a McChristie to be there after your night shift, or before your morning shift begins. That's what McDonald's breakfast is.
Ugh, my fingers are getting tired from gripping this pencil. Ah. No, it's not Deadpool, but it is supposed to be a parody of a Deadpool type character. That is the whole point of this book. It's a long story. I'm still working out the actual names of the characters for the parody. I'm going through a whole bunch of possibilities for the actual name of the book. Because I'm not in any hurry I don't have to name it yet. Something will occur to me in due course. I've thought of that, but I don't have a hold. Like, if I tape it up, then I won't be able to sharpen it down. it's not a lead holder. I don't like those lead holders. So, and so the pencils I'm using are just regular wood pencils. So Chuck has suggested to me getting some of those like in school, like a squishy handle thing that you can kind of feed around it and to hold it to, so it's not such a tiny little thing you're holding in your hand. And I went looking. I found one thing that I tried, but it didn't work. Raul the Hocket says hi. How's it going? Blood fist, blood junk. I've actually come up with a few like funny-ish ideas, but then I always forget them. And which is like, this is why you're supposed to write things down. There's a reason for this. You just keep losing them. Blood, the reckoning. Blood, the bloodening. Castration nation. I keep just leaning into like, just call it dick in a jar. Because, I mean, wouldn't that make people look like, what? But maybe like a character name or a team name, so and so, in the case of the dick in a jar or something. It's a good idea. Just like make a verbal record of it. That's not a bad idea, honestly. I still keep thinking of that giant double page spread and just handing that to Chuck. Like, this is it. Your entire career coming out of retirement to work with me. It's all led you to this. I expect it to be your best work. Thanks, Gayton. I appreciate it. I know it's late. Probably, especially for you where you're at. It's coming up on 11:30 for me. King Murray, not a fan of Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z, that stuff. Not because I have it's just, it was after my time as a kid. I have no attachment to it. I don't have anything to say about it, except I could not be less interested in it. But that's just my personal taste. Again, it's not it's not a critique or a judgment on it. Just, nah. It doesn't need my validation either. It's a major pop culture, concept, so I won't shit on a comic big time unless it's Curse of Spawn or some Liefeld nonsense. Yeah, Mike, Dragon Ball Z was nothing I could get into. I was too trained by Guyver and Robotech. Yeah, see, I think we all kind of like, just depends on what we're kind of exposed to at a certain time. I remember seeing it going, alright, I don't get this. I don't get the appeal of it, but okay. Just all I see is like, isn't it like a blonde-haired guy standing around screaming all the time? Of course, you could use that description on a Liefeld comic. So they're just a guy standing around screaming all the time. Yeah, it's fair. Someone's saying you're the same age as me, but you got into it. Yeah, you like the more serious anime. The constant screaming is annoying. Yeah, that's kind of what I saw. It's like everyone's screaming. I just stop. But again, I've got very limited exposure. There's the one or two things that I've seen. I'm like, that's cool. I will give anime credit for ruining me on pretty much anything American animation art style. My brothers are constantly like, dude, you should check out this animated series, or this DC made a series of, you know, like a one-off, like a movie based on, you know, some Batman story or something like that. And then I watch them, I'm like, I've been spoiled by Japanese animation. Just the quality and the high level of artistic effort put into their anime. I can't watch cheap American shit anymore. So even though I don't like a lot of anime at all, the animation artistry of it just is like, yeah. The constant screaming or crying. Visions of Escaflowne? I've never even heard of that one. The constant screaming is in the anime as a result of animators having to eat up time. That makes sense. That's a fair, you know. That's fair. get the basics of this last panel drawn in here, and then I'm gonna have to call it a night in terms of drawing. 2 hours and my ass has had it. It can only take 2 hours of pounding.
With Geico, we can easily bundle home and car insurance and save even more.
Yeah, so that breakfast will be tough.
There isn't too much hot sauce in there.
Daniel, where's that track from? You liked it? It's the original, like D-Man said, the original Tron, which is from, what, 82? It's all like synth music, I think. Yeah, but it's one of the things that original Tron had that really worked, I think, was the music. Dying here.
What's that for? The job offer got out. Get the keys off the counter. Yep, slide it up.
time to remove the light box and see what I've done here. Oh. Overhead light on. See you, Gaten. I'm gonna wrap it up here too, man. Oh, my ass. All right. Well, thanks, Mike. I was obviously focused. I mean, I was pulling the old image thing. I was focusing on the main jumping character and putting all the efforts into that one. I think when Chuck inks it, should come together, I think. Gotta beef up the borders, and I gotta do a bunch of blast lines, like a bunch of energy blast line movements. My roommate is actually working night shifts at the moment. But even still, in between my drawing room and her room, there's a bathroom. And I've asked her, I'm like, can you hear any of the music I play? And she's like, nope, never hear it, never bothers me. I'm like, oh, well, good, because it's my house, and if you don't like it, fuck off. I don't say that. It's my house. Boom, 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 boom. God, now I want to watch Tron. Or more accurately, I want to play some of the old Tron arcade games. Man, those were the coolest things. Back when arcades were a thing. Yep, character just died. Miss being a night owl? I'm certainly a guy that prefers to stay up at night, but my regular working job is a 6 a.m. to 3, so I really take advantage of it on the weekends when I can. Like, gonna be up late, gonna be drawing. I guess that's one of the advantages of being divorced and a single loser. Like, I can do anything I want. Okay, well, I'm gonna bag it. I'll probably jump on sometime tomorrow. Probably midday-ish. I gotta go shopping. I might go see that movie Sinners tomorrow. I was gonna go today, but I ended up kind of going on a date. I'm gonna try and go check out that movie Sinners. I've heard it's really good. I'm gonna go do that and do some shopping. I gotta record some videos for the channel. Maybe I'll squeeze in time. It's amazing, the movie. I heard everyone says it's great. So yeah, I'm excited to see it. I hear everyone talk about the scene with the music, you know. Like, of course it's not on there now. I've heard this song, but I want to see it in the movie. I lied to you. If it doesn't win awards, there's no justice. I'm kind of excited to go catch out a brand new, fresh, original story, a movie that's not like a remake or an adaptation or a sequel, just something new. You know? Got a lot of high hopes for it. Okay.
Power on.
I am now for real gonna bounce. So, thanks guys. It's a fun one, as always. Yeah, get some sleep. I'll be up for another hour or two probably, if I know myself. But because I can sleep in tomorrow a little bit. So, all right, guys. Yeah, Mike, you get some sleep too, dude. You're supposed to be asleep. All right. Catch you later.